It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Did he say start the party, Los Angeles, Anthony? Because the Dodgers are up 3-0 in the NLCS a day after the Mariners take a 2-0 lead home and get absolutely smashed in Game 3 in Seattle. The Dodgers completely avoid making the same mistake. They jump out to an early lead. They weather a little bit of a rocky start from Tyler Glasnow. And yes, I'm about to say what I'm about to say. 3.1 dominant innings from the Dodgers bullpen, Anthony.
Yeah, that's what made everyone nervous. They came through and they slammed that door. They all looked really good. Yeah, if Trinan's going to look like that, if you can fully trust Banda to look like he did against those lefties, that is absolute dynamite. And Roki, we'll talk about this more, but Roki maybe looked like he was overthrowing a little bit, had some command issues early, but I think settled into that inning and looked really good by the end of it.
Absolutely. Incredible stuff from Roki Sasaki. Incredible stuff from Anthony Banda, Alex Vesia, Blake Trinan. I posted on social media, Anthony, and I've had to own this and apologize for it. I said, this move, when they pulled Tyler Glasnow after 5 2/3, I said, this is something you do if you trust your bullpen. Dave Roberts trusted his bullpen tonight, and he was rewarded. And so I was skeptical of the move. I was skeptical of going to Vesia there. And yet, everything works out perfectly. And I think the most ardent Dave Roberts detractors have to eat a little bit of crow tonight because Dave handled this perfectly. And the guys that he decided to trust all delivered.
Look, at some point, he was going to have to turn a game over to these guys, right? And it was a matter of, okay, who do I trust most in this group? And look, after Banda got out of, or I'm sorry, after Vesia got out of the inning, he relieved Glasnow, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, can we turn this thing over to Emmett?
Yeah.
And like kind of ride this out maybe. But look, he turned it over to guys that he thought could handle the job. And to their credit, they did. And I think that, this was bound to happen. It was a 2-run game. It wasn't like it was a blowout. And they came in and they got the job done. So, if this is the sort of stuff that you can count on from the bullpen, at least from the guys that we saw today, that's a lot of trouble for opposing teams because the starters, you got to figure, are going to give you at least what Glasnow was able to give them today.
Yeah. And Glasnow probably is going to get forgotten for his performance because 5 2/3 of 1-run ball with 8 strikeouts feels pathetic and pedestrian.
Doesn't register for us these days.
No. I said in the first, there's going to be a meeting after this game to see if he's allowed to still be a Dodgers starter because there was a runner in scoring position early on in this game. And it's like Snell and Yamamoto are over there taking notes and saying, buddy, we've got a reputation to uphold around here. You can't be letting guys. But in all seriousness, Glasnow, 3 hits. I know it was 3 walks. I think all of them might have been with 2 outs, which I know some people that pisses you off, but like 2 outs, you can walk a guy and it's a lot less damaging than walking a guy with nobody out. 3 hits, 3 walks, just 1 earned run.
He maybe doesn't get that run up.
I think you can make a compelling case that shouldn't be an earned run, but 8 strikeouts. Like he truthfully was dominant, Anthony. He was dominant tonight.
Yeah, look, they never really squared him up consistently. There's a few here and there, but they didn't really find him consistently. And the shadows maybe helped with that because the Dodgers struggled against Mizorowski as well. But look, we've seen that kind of outing from Glasnow just in the last series, right? And so, I totally think that he had his stuff working today. And, the 2 out walks, whatever, but like, I think he could have easily gotten out of that with, six shutout innings again, like he did against the Phillies. You have the bad dive by Kike in left, which was a very, very questionable decision. But Glasnow was able to, he pitched around the other walks, and gave them a pretty good outing, and turned it over to the bullpen with a lead. And I think in a position where like they were not just completely, one tiny mistake ends it for him, like bases loaded, nobody out. He didn't get into that kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit more as this thing goes on. Real quick, I want to pause our show and give a shout out to a new sponsor that we have on our show, and that is TickPick. Here's a quick video to learn more about our newest sponsor. What's up, everyone? I want to take a minute to tell you about our friends at TickPick, who are an awesome new sponsor of our program. They were mentioned recently on our show, but this is your new go-to for tickets for one simple reason. TickPick gives you the lowest prices guaranteed with no fees. You heard it. No fees. What you see is what you pay. So whether you're looking for tickets to your next baseball game, concert, festival, you name it, TickPick has you covered. But here's the best part. We have a discount code for you. Save $20 off your first purchase of more than $100. And all you have to do is check out using the promo code HMA. And how about this? If you click the link below and download the app using that link, it will automatically load this code into your account so that you can use it later. So shout out to our friends at TickPick, and thanks for being a part of our program. There you go. Shout out to our friends at TickPick. Check out the new promo code. Again, exciting for us to have a sponsor, so we appreciate them. Let's get to some super chats. Anthony NG, perfect for you, an $8.24 super chat that said job's not finished. Credit to Kobe here. It's 3-0. The job is not finished. The NLCS is just about finished, but we have to remember there's a whole nother round to go before we reach the promised land. So we appreciate it, NG. And look, as we always say, you'd rather be up 3-0. The job is not finished, but you'd rather be where we are now than not. NG with another one. He needed to only be $8.24, which I respect. So now we have another $5 one that said Mooks. Mind blown, mind blown, mind blown. Celebration emojis. Anthony, I was told that Mookie Betts was selfish for wanting to play shortstop. I was told that Mookie Betts was incapable of playing shortstop at a high enough level that he should stay in right field. Mookie Betts was named a Gold Glove finalist, as I'm sure all of you know at this point. Mookie Betts made an incredible play in the ninth inning to prevent the tying run from coming up to the dish against Andrew Vaughn. Play in the hole. Ranges, backhands, jump throw, one hop. Freddie doesn't even have to move. I got no words for this guy because he is as automatic and routine as it gets right now.
He's the progression with him was that he was making all the plays that he was supposed to make early in the season, right? He was looking good. Oh man, Mookie looks actually pretty good there. And then he started to get to some other balls, and we saw him start to do that. Maybe not throw the guy out every single time. Now he's getting to those balls in the hole, up the middle, coming in hard, charging, and he's making the throws, and he's getting guys now. Like, he's turning himself into like a better than good defensive shortstop at this point, which is amazing considering the guy has never really played there in the big leagues ever.
There was, like, I even said, hey, if this guy gets nominated for a Gold Glove, which was my prediction, there's a chance that it's just based on name recognition and narrative alone. What I think he's done on nights like tonight is he's proved that he's not the best defensive shortstop in Major League Baseball, despite what defensive run save might tell you. But like, he's also not there on name recognition and narrative alone. Like, he is worthy and deserving to be in the upper echelon of defensive shortstops.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, like we preached it all season long. We preached it during spring training that, like, look, just give this guy a little bit of time. He's had a full off season to really work on this, to focus on it, because he knew coming into the season for the first time that he was going to play that position. And he's proven that theory to be absolutely correct.
Yeah. 300 says, great win. I'll admit, I never thought Mookie would have become the very good defensive shortstop he is. Bullpen did great. Tommy tanks with another clutch hit. 5 more, ... When Edman did what he did, Anthony, I was kind of reflecting on his performance, because we've talked about it. Like, he's a guy that when the lights get bright, he just gets better, and he continues to come up with these huge hits. And I was going down the list and recognizing the list of guys that they have collected who level up when the lights get brightest.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in the roster building pieces of our shows in the offseason. The Dodgers are building a team of guys that perform in October. And some of these guys perform all throughout the regular season, and then they continue to perform in October. But some of these guys just don't, right? Like there's Kike Hernandez, who is genuinely one of the worst offensive players in Major League Baseball for like 6 or 7 months, and then becomes a superstar. Tommy Edman, he's like an average to below average offensive player for 6 or 7 months every regular season in his career. And then once the postseason comes, he's the NLCS MVP last year. He has the big hit tonight that puts the Dodgers ahead. You could go up and down this list. Blake Snell, great pitcher, unbelievable in the postseason. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, when the lights get brightest, this guy is dominant. Teoscar Hernandez, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. How about Roki Sasaki? How about Blake Trinan? Like they just have these guys that you kind of throw out the regular season because it doesn't seem to matter. When Blake Trinan needed to find the Frisbee, guess what he found tonight in the NLCS in Game 3? He found the freaking Frisbee, and then he's burying two-seamers. Like, he has been fantastic these last 2 outings, and it's just another one of these guys that, yes, I know what the 6 or 7 months have taught us to believe, but at some point these guys keep telling you, this is who I am when the lights come on.
Yeah. When we keep talking about like this, they're building this team for an October run. Like they're just on talent alone. They're good enough that they can win the division. But like the real focus here is getting to that part of the race. And then for them, the real one starts in October. And they've done a really good job of identifying players. And they've done this throughout this entire regime. Identifying players who will not shrink in these kinds of situations. You think of Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, even before Chris Taylor was, couldn't be played anymore.
Yeah.
That guy stepped up in the postseason.
Yep.
And so like they just have this knack for identifying those kinds of guys. Or maybe it is the culture that they're in that really helps evolve a player and develop that sort of gene that is, you know what, when those lights are brightest, like you said, we're still going to be able to perform. Like it's incredible the way they've been able to get these guys on the roster. And you know what, Shohei's coming around. Like he'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, Ivan says Shohei looks cooked. Even the triple was a terrible swing. Look, it wasn't pretty tonight, but he did have a triple. Like, and you could say that was a terrible swing, but it's like, okay, but you don't give him credit when he hits 115-mile-an-hour liner that's like right at the right fielder. So pick your poison here. Like you got to give him credit for one or neither, or you know what I'm saying? Like neither or both are your choices there. So you're not worried about Shohei Ohtani though.
I mean, look, he doesn't look,
not worried. Maybe
he doesn't. Yes, that's a really good way to put it. I'm concerned because he doesn't look close to breaking out of this anytime. Like like it doesn't look like, man, these at bats today. Look, tomorrow he's going to hit a homer and a double. Like that's just I can feel like it doesn't look like that. But I'm not so worried to think that like he's not going to find it. He's too good because for a guy like that, like him running into one and then going, there it is. The light bulb clicks above his head. And then all of a sudden he's off to the races. Right. I think for him, and you don't get this in the regular season, right? This is a very real postseason only kind of thing where like every time a guy like him comes up, he is going to face whoever is left. That's the best possible option to give him, for the platoon split. So typically a lefty, Mizorowski had his number, but he had everybody's number while he was in there for a while. And so like there is that part of it, but like I would love to see him just kind of stay in a swing or in an at bat against the lefty. And like that's kind of what it looks like. I mean, he faces the lefty, and no matter where the ball's pitched, I mean, his chest is already pointing down the right field line before he even gets the bat off his shoulder, it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. The sandwich says, shout out to Jacob for eating steak. Jacob Brownson has been eating steak, and the Dodgers keep winning. So more steak for our guy, I guess, over there. Niles says, to everyone who says Mookie should be in right field, see 2025 NLCS Game 3, top of the 9th. Jeter who? 5 more wins to go for our boys in blue. Go Dodgers. Absolutely right. Start the countdown. Like, I nothing is guaranteed, right? Like we all say this, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
3-0 feels a lot different than 2-0 is all I'm going to say, Anthony. Because tonight I was already preparing myself, and 10 people are like, "Are you confident?" I'm like, "No, I'm nervous because I'm already doing that. Well, if they lose game 3, then all of a sudden it's 2-1 and things are going sideways. Instead, it's 3-0. The Dodgers have 2 more games at home. We haven't mentioned it yet. It sure seems like Jackson Chourio, the best player on the Milwaukee Brewers, who had to leave a game in the middle of an at bat, grabbing a hamstring that he had already hurt like a couple of weeks ago. It sure seems like if you were to bet, you would not be betting that he's starting tomorrow. And I mean it when I say he's probably their best hitter. So everything going against the Brewers. By the way, Shohei Ohtani scheduled to pitch tomorrow. He's pretty good at pitching. The Brewers are going to throw Jose Quintana. They use their best relievers all again today. Ashby, Koenig, and Uribe all pitched in this game. Like the faces in the dugout, Anthony, tell me that the 3-0 deficit is not like just a mirage. The Brewers feel the full weight of that, I think, watching them in the 9th.
Yeah. Scrolling Twitter to see if we get an update on what actually happened to Chourio, but if it was a cramps or if it is the hamstring or whatever, but I don't see
cramps.
anything yet.
It looked like cramps.
The way he was moving, it looked like cramps initially.
But you don't leave the game if you have cramps.
Same thing I thought. The fact that they couldn't get those things fixed, and the fact that they also weren't like force feeding him some sort of energy drink or electrolytes
Get
or
him
something.
on his back, stretch out,
Right. Means like, okay, it might have been, it could have been the hamstring then. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But I think you're right. This is a club that has been able to figure out ways all season long to score runs when they don't like hit the ball over the fence, right?
Yeah.
They score a lot on your mistakes. They lead the league in unearned runs. They sacrifice bunt. They sacrifice, they hit sacrifice flies. They do situational hitting well. Like they steal bases. When you're not on base, it's harder to steal bases. When you're not on base, it's harder to sacrifice.
This is why people come for this show. This sort of analysis from Anthony. I like this. It's hard to steal bases without being on. It's hard to bunt guys over from the dugout. Like, this is good. I like where this is headed.
And so to your point about the way they look in the dugout, this is the first time really since like the beginning of the season, maybe, where they have not been able to figure out a way.
Yeah.
And not only could they not figure out a way, like it's not like it's their own doing. It is the team on the other side, the pitcher on the mound against them is so good that they cannot find an answer for their issues. And when you look in that dugout, that's what it looks like. It's not like, man, we just missed, or if we could have if that ball would have fallen, we would have won that game, or if we got a good pitching performance. They've gotten they've gotten 2 out of the 3 games.
Yeah.
I think they understand right now what it is that the Dodgers are throwing at them, and they do not have an answer for it internally.
Yeah. Our guy, Scott Geirman, is in the waiting room. I'm going to bring him in a second because I'm just going to hand him the floor for a little while once he gets in. He's doing a dance off screen right now, and it's majestic. But I have one more question I want to ask.
Are his clothes on?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. It's a small little window down at the bottom. So, I mean, if they're not, let's just say there was enough to convince me there was. I'm curious, though, like Pat Murphy, who I know we've kind of made jokes about on this show, the whole time is like, oh, how big their payroll is. We're just average Joes, blah, blah, blah. Your guys are going to start to believe that now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is the ultimate backfire, because all their manager has been saying for the last 3 days is we don't really have a chance. Come on, we don't have a chance. Look how good those guys are. Guess what your players surely believe right now? That you were telling the truth the whole time.
I said this in a group chat with all of the DodgerHead folks. I said it on a show, I think, before the series. And I said it actually today on a Milwaukee-based talk show. You can keep saying that stuff and think it's going to play, but even if you're delivering a different message in the clubhouse, if those guys continue to hear that, you saying it publicly, at some point it's got to be like, all right, man, chill out. Like we still have the best record in baseball. And it's not so much that they may believe that, oh, well, maybe we just aren't as good. It's that like it's a different feeling. It's a different vibe. It's not so much that maybe they don't believe. It's just it's hard to get that rah attitude when your leader keeps saying those things. Like it's fine to say it once. Hey, we're going up against the big bad Dodgers who have this huge payroll. We're a team of average Joes. But when you repeat it every single opportunity that you get,
Yeah.
it starts to play a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome in our guy, Scott Geirman, host of Unplugged, weekday mornings or midday, depending on if it's game day. Our guy's fired up. So the floor is yours, Scott. I'm not even going to ask you a question.
Look, Dodgers up 3-0. We talked this morning. Anthony, it's good to see you. Jeff, it's great to see you, man. Like, look, the Dodgers did again what they do best and force you to play their brand of baseball that they want you to play. The pitching staff, Tyler Glasnow, pitch count started to get up there early on. That's, he wasn't as sharp today. Stuff was still electric, and incredible movement there. And what the Brewers do, they tried to go up there and put the ball in play, steal a bag, and get a run in. They got one. But the Dodgers just increasingly see that script, and they are not allowing them to do it. It's hard to string base hits together in the postseason. The Dodgers eliminated that completely. How many times have we seen multiple base hits strung against any starter this postseason? It's been like twice the whole entire time. So when that happens, the Dodgers have just had such a good game plan. And again, Tyler Glasnow does it. I was just incredibly impressed at the play with Max Muncy at third base. Just exceptional defensive moment for him. Mookie Betts for sure, but all around, Jeff, they're the Brewers stuck and Pat Murphy stuck with Jacob Mizorowski, who is disgusting. We talked this morning, and I said that was the guy I believe they were going to go with. I couldn't fathom getting to a game 4 and saying, well, we haven't used Jake Mizorowski yet. I guess this is the time to do it. So I wasn't convinced that Quintana in the press conference he had was the nod that he was going with it. And he was disgusting. He was as filthy as I expected him to be. But the Dodgers stuck around. They kept the game close there, bullpen, defense, and the Dodgers do what they do. Big Tommy Edman, have a swing, attack on a run there. It's just very good win from the Dodgers here, and they forced the Brewers to play their brand of ball, and they scored one run.
And I would even, the only thing I would change is I said this on our last show. The Dodgers the Dodgers at their best actually play the same brand of baseball that the Brewers want to play. They just play it better. It's the same don't chase. It's the same take your walks. It's the same all of it. They just aren't 22nd in the league with home runs on top of it. And go look at how the Dodgers end up winning this game, right? It's a single from Will Smith, it's a walk from Freddie Freeman, and it's a single from Tommy Edman. That's the Brewers recipe, right? It's threatening on the base pass so that Uribe moronically throws over to first base to try and pick off Tommy Edman. Like, this is the Brewers playbook.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers said, fine,
that's
we'll
how
play
the
on
Brewers
your
win
terms,
games.
and we'll just do it way better than you. Like, that's the amazing thing. They played great defense. They were the small market fundamentals win on the margins team tonight. And then they just beat them at their own game. That's the part that's amazing to me, Anthony.
The Dodgers didn't even hit a ball to the warning track tonight, I don't think. It was solid pitching, good defense, Max, Mookie. We're not counting Kike. And then the bullpen comes in and closes the door.
Yeah, right. It's the
rest.
rest.
And you score a run on the Uribe wild throw error.
And the thing that Anthony and I had a running dialogue about this from the middle of the season. We were watching Brewers baseball, and we kind of connected on this. Is we noticed like the Brewers are going to play fundamental ball. Everybody knows I love their development system. I love their preparation, and that's why they stay consistently in the hunt year after year with a payroll as low as it is. But what they did better than anybody is capitalize on opposing teams' errors. They led the league in scoring runs off of opposing team errors, and it wasn't close. And what happened there in the second inning, you have a runner get in scoring position with Tyler Glasnow, a steal and then an error on a pickoff attempt, gets to third base, and then Max Muncy makes a play and eliminates their spot where otherwise, if all things go correct, they get a run on that play there. Jackson Chourio comes up and smokes a liner to right. Look, that inning could have gone so much differently, but it's about the Dodgers doing, again, the little things that win you ball games and being Johnny on the spot in the moment. Just before I forget about it, I have to bring up with Mookie Betts. I saw him on the panel talking to the guys post-game. He said every single player in that clubhouse right now doesn't feel the pressure of they're the one who have to step up in the moment. They're all looking around the room that they're okay passing the buck to the next guy. And it's
they're about to sweep their way into the World Series possibly, and Shohei Ohtani hasn't even gotten there yet.
Nowhere.
Well, and that's like the summary, right? Because as I'm taking my notes, I write after the second inning, missed opportunities early for both teams, right? It's a triple from Ohtani, Mookie doubles. They got a runner on second with nobody out. They can't cash that run in, Right after that, the Brewers have their crazy inning. It's the 1-out triple from Durbin because Kike dives at a ball he shouldn't dive at. Bowers, a 2-strike RBI single that's a ground out if the defense is playing normal depth, but neither here nor there. Bauer steal, moves to third on the error at second, and then Muncy makes an incredible play. But this is like if you want to make a case for the Dodgers spending and how it's unfair, whatever, which it's stupid. But what the Dodgers have done is they just give themselves more chances. So both teams miss opportunities, but guess what? The Dodgers are just going to create more of them. So if the Dodgers miss one, it's less of an issue than the Brewers. Like, they have to capitalize on every single issue that they have. Every opportunity has to be cashed in. Same thing, Ohtani. The Dodgers' best player is their worst player right now at the plate. But guess what? It's okay. The Brewers' best players, they had some stat. I didn't even know what the number was. They're like 3 for 42. Like Yelich and a couple other guys are like 3 for 1,000,000. They can't weather that storm. The Dodgers just hand the baton and they're like, all right, fine. Will Smith single, Tommy Edman single, Freddie Freeman walk. Boom, we're in business. So that's what the Dodgers have done. They've just given themselves outs. We don't need to go 5 for 5 because we're going to get 10 chances. We just need to go 5 for 10 and hope the Brewers go 4 for 5 and we win, which is ultimately what ends up happening.
The TBS broadcast has been awful. But
excellent effort from Hernandez was the analysis we got on Kike's dive. I'm like, that's pretty much the worst thing you could say to me.
Brutal. Right? It's been brutal. But one thing that one of the guys said, like I try to tune him out, so I don't even remember who said it, but they did make a point early on in the game that the Brewers are in a position where, when essentially what you just said, Jeff, if an opportunity presents itself, they have to be perfect. They can't miss an opportunity with where they're at in series, the team that they're playing, and the pitching that they're facing.
Yeah.
And they've continuously come up short on those in those kind of situations. They've gotten a couple here or there, but like not nearly, and it's always for one run. They're not putting up crooked numbers. And so when you have that back against the wall kind of situation and you're not capitalizing to the maximum every single time, and the other team that you're playing against is going, X number of innings and 2 earned runs over 3 games.
Yeah.
It's not a recipe to win a series at all.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to some super chats. Aaron says 1 win away from the underdog Dodgers sweeping the best team in baseball. # why not us? Shout out to the pen. They looked fantastic. We're going to talk bullpen here in just a second. Brandon, Shohei needs to take better at bats. He chases way too much. Hopefully tomorrow he takes out his frustration on the mound. 8-1 is crazy, especially with Shohei struggling. I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself, but what the Dodgers are doing right now in this postseason to be 8-1 through almost full 3 rounds, I'm catching myself. Grayson, up 3-0. We aren't even playing our best baseball offensively, and I think you could say it's not even close.
It's not even close, yeah.
Jedi Engineer asking Ohtani pitching tomorrow, right? Scott, there's no way they would change this up, right? Like, Ohtani will be on the mound tomorrow.
I hope they keep it on schedule. I really do. I really hope they keep it on schedule.
Yeah. There's not like a need to like, oh, well, we'll save him for the next, it's not like you're already starting to plan ahead for the World Series, because obviously you've got some other guys that you would happily get into a series early. So I would pitch him tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you. You close the door if you have the opportunity. Also, like, I want to say, if the ALCS happens to go like 6 games, if they wanted to,
by the way,
he could, like, I think he could still start.
Like,
well,
the World Series would start the same day no matter what. I believe it is.
Well, I think if there was one thing where, like, I don't know if it was both teams had to sweep or just one team swept. There was the potential that it could start earlier. But I think if the ALCS goes like I think if Toronto wins tonight, like, then it goes back to what's normal.
Yeah.
And like, even then, like, I think Ohtani
would be a full week. He could pitch tomorrow, Friday, and then game 1 of the World Series would be next
Friday.
Yeah,
that was the point I was making. Yep. Thank you.
Scott, this one's on a tee for you. Tommy Edman, such a dog. Worst starting pitcher performance for the Dodgers is 5 2/3, 8 strikeouts. Block the noise, salary cap criers, and do what you were paid to do. Win. Your guy. I mean, again, it's like he could look terrible for like an hour and a half, and then first pitch, clutch single, game-winning run. Like, it's just they have a bunch of these guys.
Without a doubt, man. I mean, look, it's just I've said it all season long, and it's just, I don't need to do the whole victory thing all the time, but it's like when you see guys do it consistently through multiple postseason series, you just see their at bats. And if they're a specialty player, you put them in there to do one job, and they're doing it well, like consistently well, and outperforming expectations. Look, he went in there last year in the NLCS and had an unbelievable thing. He outperformed Max Muncy, who I think reached base at like a 600 clip. So to do that, and then you come back into this postseason, and again, it's just get him against the lefty, and he goes up there. He's consistently getting at least keyhole one in one of his at bats a game, and he finds himself in a lot of run batted in spots, a lot of run producing spots. He's going to fail. That's what happens, but he's going to go up there and put bat on ball. And the Dodgers need those guys, Jeff. We talked at the deadline last year where we were saying he's going to go up there. He's going to have a different club in the bag. I'm big on that. That's big for me to have somebody in the lineup who's going to go with a different approach than somebody else. And he just does that. And he puts the ball in play, and good things are happening for him right now. I think he's I just had his stuff up here, but 829 OPS through the whole postseason. I'm elated.
Yeah. And by the way, I could be wrong on this. What I'm seeing, Anthony, is that World Series start date is predetermined.
I just put a note in the chat. Yeah, I think so. It was a thing that had happened, and then MLB scrapped it in August, it looks like.
So Dodgers win tomorrow. They'd have a full week off before the World
Yes.
Series. And by the way, as I was I mentioned, 3-1 Toronto up on Seattle.
That's why I keep looking up here. I got the TV above me.
Yeah. So there you go. Real quick, I mean, somebody asked this question. Cole asked, who gets home field in the World Series if we make it? We're
rooting for the Mariners.
If the Mariners make it, the Dodgers get home field. If Toronto makes it, then Toronto gets home field. Is it as simple as that for you, Anthony? You're just rooting for that because it would give the Dodgers home field? Do you think the Mariners are a lesser team compared to Toronto?
I don't necessarily think they're a lesser team, and their starting pitching is definitely formidable for the Mariners. Home field advantage, I think, is important here, and I with one day, with the days off not looking like they looked in the DS.
Yeah,
I think the short trips back and forth are helpful for a team of a bunch of guys on the other side of 30.
Yeah. Scott, do you agree with that? Are you rooting for Toronto if you had to choose?
I would like to. Somebody asked me this morning, and I think I went with Seattle. I purely just, Seattle would be good for baseball. But as far as the matchup thing, I think that familiarity factor there. It's just about having, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's seeing the ball incredibly well. Alejandro Kirk's had a very good postseason. I think the Dodgers have a quality game plan against Seattle, so I'm rooting for Seattle to go ahead and have that. It helps them on a number of things, and we've seen the Dodgers take care of business on the road, and they've bulldozed their way on the road this time around. So going into Toronto, there, that would be something they're familiar doing, and the chance to finish out a World Series potentially at home if things click all right. But I'd like to stay on the West Coast and keep it right there.
Yeah. And I think too, Jeff, like, looking at this let's say if this Mariners series goes 6, let's say, their pitching is not in a good way. Like, they've really had to tax that bullpen. That series against the Tigers didn't help them. And so, like, I while the pitching is good, it doesn't scare me enough to be like, man, I really hope we don't see those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Freedom says, we're going to the World Series, guys. Ain't no freaking way. Brewers are going to take us back to Milwaukee. This is over with. 20 says, Dave Roberts Galaxy Brain Dogs are back. Scott, real quick, Glasnow coming out in the 6th. What was your immediate reaction to that decision?
I was fine with it. He looked like he was faltering a little bit. Coming back out there, totally good with it. I loved him going back out there. He felt like he was in a good spot.
The idea to take Glasnow out and put Vesia in with 2 outs in the
Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I was cool with it. I was fine with that spot. It felt like he was faltering a little bit. Glasnow was, had good slider stuff today, good curveball stuff today, but at the very end looked like he was faltering. Like I said at the top, when I joined in, that he was a little bit off his game, and off his game was the chance to go 6 innings. So he really had to labor through some of those at-bats. He had a tough time finishing out some of those at-bats. The back-end walks do a number on a pitcher. Him with the at-bat to Andrew Vaughn there, goes first pitch ball, sinker, clips out outer half there, and then his spray pattern on that final at bat to Vaughn was something where I was okay, and I was all right going Vesia there for that third out.
Given who was coming up, I thought it made sense, right? Like, but I think he had gotten like the first 2 outs, and then that walk happens, right? And then he gets lifted. I thought if there was another righty coming up, I would have been fine leaving him in. But given who was coming up, I thought it was the right call, actually.
Especially with Frelick. Yeah, Frelick's had a really tough postseason. He has not looked good. He has looked off balance there. So I was totally good with that.
Yeah, I was skeptical just because they bring in Vesia, and then I'm like, man, so then I hope they're going to bring him back out, that you're not going to burn Vesia for 1 out. They give him the up down. He kind of struggles a little bit in that next inning, and then Trinan ends up bailing him out. So again, kudos to David. Ends up working out. Real quick on Glasnow, though. Like the underlying stuff on Glasnow tonight is kind of insanely good. Like, I know it didn't look pretty. 33 swings, 14 whiffs.
He was gross.
42% whiff rate. How about this? 26 called strikes. And I know the shadows are helping this, but a 40% called strike and swinging strike percentage, it's an absolutely bonkers number from Glasnow, Scott.
He never let up. Like, he pitched to his game plan. Like, there were the at back to Christian Yelich there where he went, they call it two-seamer, but it's charted as a sinker. We know, but that pitch on a 3-2 count there to get that swing and miss, I was like, okay. And then I saw how he pitched William Contreras. I saw how he pitched Andrew Vaughn. It was away. You're going to play my game. I'm not giving you anything in or half. We're talking Contreras and Andrew Vaughn, who had 2 homers in the Cubs series between them, or, all together 4. So it's like they were cooking. They felt really good in that Cubs series. Dodgers aren't allowing that to happen. You're going to have to go outside. Snell's going to hammer changes away. You're playing their game. We're going to make you dive out of the zone there. And they've just stuck to it. Hell of a game plan for them.
Yeah, and it did seem, the broadcast, one thing I thought they got right was it seemed like the approach was just wait for breaking stuff and try and punish it, because you look at the hard stuff that Glasnow threw, right? It was 34 seam fastballs, 8 of them called strikes. He threw 23 sinkers, 2-seamers, 11 of them called strikes. Like, they were just watching hard stuff go straight past them, and Glasnow was like, great, we're just going to fill up the zone and pepper it and make you hit the other stuff. And then they swing 10 times on the slider and whiff 6 times. They swing 10 times on the curveball and whiff 4 times. So it's like you're 10 for 20 swings and misses on the breaking stuff. Go ahead. Keep waiting for it.
It allowed him to get into back into a lot of counts, and they relied on that. Falling behind there, you're able to get, called strikes looking and swing and miss on that sinker. Like, that was big for him. It allowed him to get back in at bats. He was falling behind a bit.
Aaron says, I always thought if the Dodgers made it to the World Series, it would mean the bullpen at least figured itself out. It looks like that may be the case. Anthony, this is the $1 million question. And I joked after Blake Trinan's performance that I might say some crazy things on here. And everybody knows where I stand on my guy Blake Trinan and the confidence I have in him. I was ready to declare him back after his last performance in this series. So today was just like, icing on the cake, baby. That thing got a little extra warming up in the air fryer tonight. In all seriousness, the question is this, Anthony. Like, is the bullpen back? The next time the Dodgers get 6 innings from a starter and need 9 outs from the bullpen, are you going to feel noticeably better than you did prior to today?
I'm gonna feel fine about it. I'm not gonna feel super confident about it.
Well, is fine noticeably better than you felt today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're not good, but we got from maybe I'm super nervous to I'm still a little nervous, but I'm not as nervous.
Yeah. I'm not on edge, right? Okay. And you had me shaking my head in my car because I had to listen to the stream in my car the last time when you talked about Blake Trinan coming in and shutting the door. I did not see what you saw in him. He still walked. He probably should have walked in that run.
Yeah, every pitch was right where he wanted it to be.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Like, you think
a ball is not a miss
automatically. Fastball with the bases loaded 3 feet above the zone.
He didn't have 3 balls in the count, and he got this chase.
Okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't 3 balls, but okay.
I think it was like a 1-2 count.
I did not think he had great command that night. He was all over the zone. Today, drastically different. I mean, he had that sweeper and slide on a string.
Yeah, the frisbee's back, baby.
It looked
good. It looked good. I can add on there. Yeah, he was doing a really good job overlaying that. The at bat to Chorio there, where Isaac Collins gets subbed in there. Or no, excuse me, who was it? Blake Perkins, excuse me.
Yeah.
He was overlaying that sweeper down and away to start that AB, and I was like,
when you get those, we
might have something here now.
We talked about this with Roki before. When you get those, like, not really check swings, but not full swings, because the guy realizes like he's got no shot to hit this, but it's so late in the recognition that he's just like, the ball's at his front. I mean, the bat's at his front shoulder. When he got that against Perkins, it was like, yeah, that's filthy again.
Yeah. And look, we just keep talking. And my greater point on this is the Dodgers just have these guys that you throw out the last 6 or 7 months when the postseason lights come on, right? It's Kike, it's Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
And I just think Blake Trinan's in that category. Like, he just does not, he's not rattled when he comes into these games. The moment will never be too big for him. Now, does he have premium stuff? Some days it looks better than others. Today, the sweeper looked dialed in. I don't know if the two-seamer, the sinker, whatever you want to call that pitch, was perfectly dialed. But it's clear that Dave trusts him, Scott. And at least 2 times in a row now, he has rewarded that trust, because the last spot he came into was not a small spot, right? That was game-winning run on second base, tying run on third, and he gets out of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all knew that Dave Roberts having him warm up in different spots there, and it was in Philadelphia there where at the very end of the game, it was Blake Trinan's warming up, and I'm sure Phillies fans and the Phillies lineup were taking a sigh of relief just for how that went earlier on in the series. We know Dave Roberts trusts him a lot. That's his guy. We understand it. It's one of those where it's like, just buckle up and hope he gets right and see how that goes. It's the opposite effect of what people think Tanner Scott is, where it's like, he wasn't used in that blowout game, so he's going to get used in there. That possibility is out the window. It's on Blake Trinan. And Blake Trinan's had big-time postseason moments for about 5 years now with the Dodgers. And Dave Roberts knows what he can do. And just like you said, look, he had some moments where he looked a little rattled at the very end, probably because he's like, what the hell is happening here? Like, where's my elite stuff? It looks good out there, but his spray pattern was not as keyed in as we would like. But in these last 2 games, results, you want to see some plus stuff. Dave Roberts went to him. He probably was like, I could do this. I could do this now. Yeah. You punch a game out, you end it. And then tonight, he looked very good today. I have zero critiques on Blake Trinan. That's one where it's like, usually you'll come away like there's some things he's got to clean up. I have no critiques on what he did.
This is the first time in my mind that he's looked good in like a month. And like, where if I know I get that Blake Trinan, then I'm like, yeah, when can we use him? Like, you're looking forward to him getting those 3-4 outs, whatever he's called on to do. I'm not at the point yet where I'm like, I can't wait to see Blake Trinan. But I'm very happy this is a step in a really good direction.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because it does feel like the Dodgers had maybe 2 or 3 guys that they trusted. Clearly, Roki Sasaki was a guy they trusted. Clearly, Alex Vesia was a guy they trusted. But what they needed was they needed to get that number to like 4, because tonight is the perfect night, right? Like, if you need to go and get 10 outs, you can't totally depend on 3 guys to go and get you those outs. You can hope, but you need to have a backup plan. And I think Sheehan, most of us thought would be in that group. And I think he still is. I think Bonda was just like the right matchup in that inning with all the lefties and Contreras coming up. But it was clear that Dave was like grasping for, I need to find a 4th guy that I can go to bail me out. And it's clear that that guy is trying in based on usage. And to the point that we've all been making, he looked good tonight, and he looked good in the last outing. I think you guys disagree, which is fine. He's gotten 2 clean outings out of this. Let's just say it that way. And so the fact that he's been able to manufacture that is a huge deal. Let's talk Roki Sasaki real quick. I'm going to hop off in about 5 minutes. Scott's going to take over hosting duties. But let's talk Sasaki, because I'll admit, Scott, I was not 100% confident when they handed him the ball in a 2-run game tonight based on how he looked earlier in the series. And on one hand, the first 2 pitches he threw were not anywhere freaking close.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Right, and one missed left. However, I saw triple digits, and that was all I needed to see on the fastball. That was the most important thing to me, was not command, was please, for the love, tell me you're not throwing 97-mile-an-hour heaters. So, Scott, give me what you saw on Roki Sasaki tonight.
I agree with you. This, first and second pitch, I said, oh, man, because it's when anytime you hear a player or know a player struggled mightily like Roki Sasaki did, and it threw off his command, it threw off his velocity. And then the first thing we see tonight is his command, take a dip. And then on the first 2 pitches, you go, okay. The one thing I did not want him to have, the velo dip didn't happen, so that was fine. It was just command. It was just throw it in zone. Just pump him. Just go ahead and do it. Don't keep shying away from the strike zone. Your stuff is good enough. And I'm big on this. A lot of people aren't. And I think I don't know who had the conversation with me about when a player struggles, you want to get them back out there as fast as possible. But from an offensive standpoint, if you have a bad day, I want you to get back to the yard. I want to get back to the plate so I can shake this bad feeling. And for me, I want Roki. It wasn't, maybe I was a little indifferent on going out there tonight. But when you think about when you have a bad outing, you want to shake that as fast as possible.
Yeah.
When you're penciled in as the closer, you want to go shake that bad feeling. And then that third pitch, called strike, about 100 miles an hour, right down the middle to Andrew Vaughn. Then you force him that I'm back here. Like, I'm back in the zone. You're going to have to attack me. And then he gets a ground ball out immediately after that. It was a hard hit ball, but when you throw hard, you're going to get a hard hit ball. So,
Great
Jeff,
play by Mookie
I'm with you. Yeah, it was great. Mookie makes a play. Look, I was great with it. I saw all plus stuff there. I'm feeling good with Roki.
And Anthony, I think the key to Sasaki, beyond just the velocity, he didn't have the splitter last time he pitched. Like, there was no swing and miss because it wasn't close. He ended the game tonight by throwing 2 back-to-back filthy splitters. And the first one, the guy laid off. And the second one, I mean, basically landed on his shoelaces and he was swinging away. So to me, it's like, it's the 100 miles. We're back. Okay, we're dialed in. Mechanics. He sort of seemed to figure out a little bit of the command as the outing went on. But more importantly, it's the swing and miss splitter that all of this hinges on. Because honestly, if he's throwing 97 but has that splitter, I think he can survive. If it's 100 miles an hour with no splitter, I think we're in trouble.
Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive here.
True.
I think that regardless of the kind of command he has of the splitter, because he doesn't always have great command of it, even when he's looked good.
Yeah.
It's if he's locating the fastball,
if they have to respect the fastball, they're going to start swinging at the splitter.
100% correct. Because with his extension and at that velocity, you're not recognizing it out of hand, and he's tunneling it well now.
Thing's a knuckleball, man. Yeah.
And so by the time you see it, you're already into your swing.
Yeah.
And he's with that combination. If he's locating the fastball, you almost have to make up your mind early on, like, if I see it in this kind of zone, I'm going to swing. And then that's what makes the splitter devastating, because it looks like it's going to be in that kind of zone. And then he's able to make it fall off one way or another. So I think that they play off each other in that way. And to your guys' earlier points about his command, and with those first 2 pitches, it was like, oh, okay, what do we have here? What's going on here? But you saw the first pitch, triple digits, right?
Yeah.
And then as he settled into the outing, it looked like those first 2 pitches were overthrown. Like he was trying to make,
shake the webs, man.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I was glad they called on him. I mean, like Scott, you said you were indifferent. I wanted him to get out there because I wanted to know, is this a guy that can bounce back? Can we count on this guy still? Because we've only seen success from him in this role so far until that first outing against the Brewers. Now we see him bounce back. I think we're in good shape with them. And he said after the game, I saw some of the comments, the first outing in this series, they went back and looked, and the mechanics that they had been working on had gotten a little bit out of whack. And that's it contributed to the drop in velocity and the command issues. And I think for him, because this is still so new for him, it's going to have to be a constant check-in on, are those things right?
Yeah. I think it's a great point. It's a great point all the way around. I'm going to hop off. Again, I'm going to hand the reins over to Scott. Dodgers win 3-1, 3-0 series lead. I will be back on tomorrow night with Anthony, potentially a broom friend. We'll see, to be determined, if Shohei Ohtani pitches. I will check in later because I can't wait to hear you guys answer all these questions we're getting about who the MVP of this series is, because I got no freaking idea who it's going to be. So I appreciate everybody. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Thanks for hopping in. Scott, thanks for helping me out. Anthony, as always, fantastic stuff. Anthony, we'll talk tomorrow. Scott, DodgerHeads Unplugged. I'll plug it for you tomorrow, game day, noon. So check it out, folks. But I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.
Later, buddy.
Later, buddy. Yeah. So Anthony, look, I love what you said about that, and I'm big on, you have a tough outing, go back out there, shake that off, get back in the box. When you have that long layoff, it's a problem. And going 3 innings like Roki Sasaki did to round out that series against the Phillies, to immediately have that time off, and then you probably got himself out of whack there, a couple up downs mixed in there. It changes a lot. He's doing a lot of things differently right now. And tonight it was those first 2 pitches. You shake that, and then that's why I was just happy. Just pump one down the middle. Just get yourself on the plus.
Exactly. And I was big on, because he is so new to this role, and like what we had seen from him early in the season, and just like all of that stuff played into the fact that like, I want to get this guy back out there as soon as you can. Obviously, you're not doing it in the Yamamoto game, right? Like he was too nasty. But I was glad they were able to do it today, because I wanted to see how he bounced back. Could they correct the issues that were clearly there in the first game, in game one? And so those first two pitches, I was like, they were polar opposite misses, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't panic at all. I was actually, the velocity was the key sign for me. And then it was just like, he overthrew that second one for sure. Like you could see his body come all the way. Like it was pretty clear. And then, like I said, he kind of settled in, and I was like, okay, if they're able to start recognizing these fixes that he has to make from outing to outing, he might be that guy for this run.
And it was that last at bat, man. It was that last at bat against Caleb Durbin, and Caleb Durbin has had a very good series. Like he's played his ass off. He's done exactly what he did to get himself here. Puts the ball in play. He's a speedy guy. The dude, he's a little gamer. Third baseman. That at bat on the last two splitters he threw, gets a called strike down and in, and he overlays it again. Gets a swing and strike in the game. It was just, that was it. He could put a pin in that and chart that one up to his mind, his mechanics, and say, this is, if I can execute, I can do this all postseason. It's just a matter of the preparation and the recovery, and how they can keep them in this exact tunnel, this exact window where he's feeling good and his recovery is all good, to be there.
You bring up a really good point about the preparation, because I think he's still figuring out how to get loose for these appearances. I don't think he knows what that is yet, and that's not a fault of his, right? The guy's been a starter his entire life, and he's only been doing this job for a few weeks, and even with that, he's only got a handful of appearances actually. So, I think there's still some of that to like zero in on. Here's what I need to do before the gate swings open, so that I can make sure that I'm ready to go and optimize myself at pitch number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's just it's going to be a process. And the more opportunities he gets, the more they're going to see. Because if you looked at what he did in game one, when they flashed to him and he had been warming up for a few minutes, he was pouring sweat. Some of that, weather, humid in Milwaukee, whatever. But like today, it looked a lot more deliberate, because every time they would flash to him, like most of the time, he was kind of just taking his time and not necessarily humming pitches. And so like, I wonder if that's part of it too. Like, I would like to know if anyone asks him about like, if that is another thing that he has to figure out too, aside from the mechanical stuff. And I think that's why if during this really good stretch for him, I think he deserves even more credit, because he's not just being asked to go out and perform. He's adapting to this role for the first time in his professional career. And that's not an easy thing to do on the biggest stage.
As a rookie, brother. Like this is a guy who had the depths. It's a hell of a career arc for him. It's a hell of a rookie season. You look back at this, and there's nothing that this kid can't do. To basically be in a spot where it's like, how many questions we receive on here, and about is Roki Sasaki going to be able to contribute? The amount of times I answered that, I said, the trajectory he's on with before the fixes and everything, don't do it. Don't pressure him into this spot. Just, scrap the season, get him working in Arizona. And what did he do in Arizona? Rob Hill, the boys, everybody got him right, unlock some things mentally. And that's why I'm big on how Kike Hernandez consistently performs, the mental side of the game. And with Roki Sasaki, the mental side of the game, line up the mechanics, and this is the product that you have here. So the Dodgers and Dave Roberts have someone at the back end he's been searching for this whole time. Quickly, again, everybody, shout out to the 37 in here across all platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Appreciate you joining in post game here. The Dodgers take a 3-0, a very commanding 3-0 series lead over the number one seed in the National League, Milwaukee Brewers. The wild card round division winning Dodgers are storming their way right now. This is history, and statistical history is now completely on their side with the 3-0 lead here. I would not meddle with the starting rotation. I would go out there and just consistently do it, play your game. The Brewers have thrown all of their best arms. Pat Murphy has said he hasn't overexposed anybody. They've had to use everybody. The Cubs wore them down. The lip service that we're hearing from Pat Murphy, post-game, pre-game, all around, mid-game, it has not worked. I heard you guys talking about, how he's spoken to his roster. I've felt it's been very disingenuous to them. I know that some things he's been saying all year, the average Joe's thing, but these boys can play. And I've known that. I say it every morning on Unplugged, and like how good this Brewers team is, the quality of ball player that they have out there. These guys have players. It's just the Dodgers are beating them at their own game. They're forcing them to play their game, and it's not worked out. So it hasn't worked out for them. And I've wanted to speak to what Pat Murphy said and how he's talked about his team here. And they've thrown everything at the wall, and so far nothing has sticked but Jacob Mizorowski. And I think we kind of knew that he was going to shove. It just was a matter of when. It was a matter of how long he was going to go.
Yeah, they're in a situation where I think you go into tomorrow against a guy with arguably the best raw stuff in baseball, and if they don't get to him in the first 6, 7 outs, something like that, I wonder what the vibe starts to feel like in that dugout. Like, is it just inevitable now? I do wonder what kind of fight they have. And like, look, this has been known as a team that's gritty and, all of that kind of stuff. But when the other team has had their foot on your throat for 3 games, it's hard to stay in that sort of in that mindset where you're like, yeah, we can still do this thing. That's why I think they have to get to Ohtani early, or else you might see that bat quality for the Brewers get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, they're not able to play their game. Base hits, string it along, force you to steal. Like, they're going to steal a bag, steal 2 bags, double steal, force the opposing team to make mistakes. It's not happening. It's now you're down 3-0. It works over a course of a 162 when you're playing different opponents, but when you're able to take time and these scouting teams, yeah.
And when you're not always, and this was one of my biggest gripes with the Brewers when I said like this, yeah, they're scoring and they're doing this stuff, but like, I kept saying it's bubblegum and string that they're holding this thing together with. Not that, and I didn't mean to sound like they were a bad team. They're a good club, but like we're a Dodgers podcast. We are talking about, can you go get a ring doing this stuff? This
hard, man. That's
right?
Yes,
And so like, you're doing that stuff. And like you said, over 162, it plays a little easier. And part of the reason is because you're not going game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4 facing.
It's in a vacuum. It's all in a vacuum.
Ace.
You're facing teams in the regular season that are just trying to get through a regular season.
Yeah.
And then that's how it is. You're facing guys that aren't up to speed on there. They're not living and dying on every play. When you get to October, you live and die on every single play. It's just, I think Freddie Freeman said, if you're not leaving every single game exhausted, then you're not playing hard enough. Like, this is that type of baseball. So many things have to click right. How many things have to click right in one single at bat? If you're not hitting homers, if you don't have Andrew Vaughn, terrific season, not knocking it, but it's just the pedigree. And when you just get pitched, good pitching will always be good hitting. That's just flat out how it goes.
Absolutely.
But you have to be able to take your opportunities and make the most of them. And when so many things have to click right just to get a base hit and get a walk in the postseason, if you're not able to string those base hits together, if you're not able to steal that extra bag to get that, run scoring opportunity, things aren't going to happen. When you're facing a team's best pitching, game planning, all those things, it's not going to work out. And so far right now, the Brewers game plan, they just look gassed. Their pitching looks completely wiped out from the Cubs series, and they just ran into the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that's just how it is.
This is a series. This series is an encapsulation of why I said in September, all through September, when we get asked this question, yes, they have a legitimate shot to still win this thing. And this was when they were down bad, like when, things didn't look great for them.
Yeah.
And people in the chat were like, hey, we're crazy for thinking this way, but it was a simple formula for me. You get these 4 starters and 5 with Sheehan, because at the time I think we thought he was going to play a bigger role in the bullpen than so far that he has.
Yes.
We thought that you get those 5 guys into October healthy, that can be how you win. You ride those guys the entire way. And outside of the the Reds series, that's essentially what it's been, because the offense has been hit and miss, and mostly miss in terms of like runs per game and things like that. And so this was exactly what we were talking about. If those guys are healthy, they give you a legitimate chance to win the World Series. And we're seeing it right now.
Absolutely. I'm not sure how many of these super chats Jeff went through, but we've got quite a bit of them. Everybody, thank you for the support here. Ant, did he go through any of these yet?
We have gone through some.
Okay.
Let's see.
Point it out to me, because I'm going to keep going. I've seen some of them come in here.
Throw them up, and then I'll let you know if we've gone through it already.
Phil, we've done this one yet?
We have not.
Okay, cool. I think he's undone. I think he has all of them. So I'm going to go here, and we've got 28 of them, buddy. So buckle in. If you want to head out, no sweat, but you're with me. Phil, he says, I love how Freeman was like, okay, Miz, you want to play games? We can play games. I'll wait till the last second to stay. Yes, I love this. Masterclass in batting and baseball smarts. It was that bat right there. I know frustrated the hell out of Mizrowski. And that was Freddie Freeman going up there, understanding the rules, understanding the pitch clock, that you're going to go in there. You want to hold all the way down to the last second, Miz. Well, I'm going to make you wait so I can get in the box here, have my time, make you go on my time. So I love that there. That was a beautiful thing.
That was a great at bat. A great
AB. We texted in there and I was like, unreal. That was like an exhausting at bat as a pitcher. Bojangles. Kershaw will have a World Series ring in his retirement year. This is one of the most well-rounded Dodger teams I've ever seen. Glass is real. Yeah, look, if you're not critical on the bullpen, then you were talking good stuff here.
Yeah. Two things here on that. If you can throw that one back up.
Yeah.
Real quick. The Kershaw thing is cool. Like, we were all thinking about that going into the playoffs, but like since they've started, I've almost sort of like, it's been in the back of my mind, because like, we stress watch these games, and Kershaw, if he's not on the mound, he's not really at the front of your mind. So that is going to be cool if they are able to pull this thing off. To think that he can go out like that is going to be amazing. The glass is real comment. Can we please stop denigrating this guy for whatever reason? Like, for whatever reason people have, like the availability thing, that's fair.
Yeah, it's the Pepio trade, man. That's what it is. That's all it is.
When he's pitching healthy, he was a sub-3 ERA guy in his first season with the Dodgers. Since the injury, which, 4 starts or whatever it was before he went on the IL for a couple of months, since he's come back, sub-3 ERA. Like, the guy's legitimately a number 1 starter.
Yep.
Now, if you put him up against the other 3 guys in the rotation that we have in the playoffs, I guess we could call him our 4th. But like, you talk to scouts, and the scouts are like, man, on stuff alone, he might be the best guy. Like,
he's an ace, brother.
It's amazing, and it's not that we have to rank the 4 guys, but can we just stop pooping on the dude?
Yeah, it's just the chasing the perfect feeling thing. That was something for a bit. He's even talked. Dave Roberts has spoken about that. So I usually, if something's a narrative, just like to fans and analysts and writers, there might just be that. But once Dave Roberts started to speak about chasing that perfect feeling, whatever he had to break through as far as pitching, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, he's shut that down. He's quieted that. People were asking why he didn't go deeper in the series against the Phillies. He felt the cramps in the 3rd inning and went out there and gave you 3 more electric innings. So he has done everything that is asked. He's come in relief. He talked to me at how much of a boost that gave him. So yes, I'm in full agreement with you, man. Like, Tyler Glasnow is legit.
And we can stop saying, Jeff and I had, this was one of our better debates over the course of the summertime this year. When Glasnow was on the IL, we had somebody come in and compare the Pepio, talk about the trade with Pepio. And Jeff was full on board on that. This trade had already been won by the Rays, and it was a blowout. It wasn't even close. And that's what got my blood going with him, was like, how can you, like, if you want to say they're winning the trade as of right now, fine. I might not agree with that, but to call it a blowout to me was crazy, because all it was going to take for that tide to shift was one good postseason. And if it's a blowout, 1 month of good ball shouldn't turn that dial that much. And so I think it's a point where, like, look, Pepio might go on and have a really good career, and that's great. Good for him. I would rather have Tyler Glasnow right now.
It takes elite players, like good players, to acquire better players, and that's how it goes. Good package, it's paying dividends now. few years into that contract. And like I've spoken, this is the last thing we got to get back to him, but this is the 100th percentile outcome and about all these starters healthy at the same time. And now they're showing what that can really do in a postseason where it's just keep it moving, hand the ball to the next guy. You're in that starting pitching room, and those meetings has to be just a clinic of how you talk baseball, game planning, and stuff like that. I would love to be in that room. It's been a real magical run they're on right now. Peyton Brown says Dodgers speed running this postseason. It's crazy what they're doing right now. J-Rod, bring out the brooms.
Laker stuff.
Yeah. Yes, they're running it.
That 2000, what was it, 2001 title when they beat the Sixers? They lost.
I was
one
a kiddo,
game
buddy. I was
season.
8 years old, man. I was a kiddo. I remember that though. I do remember it. It was great. Bring out the brooms. I'll be at game 4. Hell of a game. J-Rod, hope you see something. Gabriel, and that's all she wrote. Game over. Dodgers win. 8 down, 5 to go. Go Dodgers. 100%. Grayson, can we sweep so we don't have to hear incompetent TBS announcers? It's been peculiar. We know BA is great. BA has had some incredible calls. I think he's one of the best in the business there. But I would be lying if I wouldn't say that he sounds incredibly sad that the Brewers are going down the way that they're going down. He does sound sad. Ron Darling. Yes, Ron Darling is Ron Darling. Frank Gore is a chill dude. Ron Darling's what a guy. What a guy Ron Darling is.
Yeah.
300. Mookie was a right fielder that could play some short. He's now a shortstop that can play some right field.
Good way to put it.
I love it. TQT, love you, buddy. I mean, 300, man. Yes, it's where we're locked in here. Where's TQT at tonight? I need to see him in chat. 300, man. Great comment, though. It's Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts looks comfortable. He's got the throwing angles down, everything. He's just exceptional.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah, bullpen was lights out today. Roki is back. We comfortable saying that?
Yes, I am. And real quick, I'll just say, because I think the fact that they were able to identify and then correct what the issue was from game 1, that gives me a ton of confidence.
Yeah. Luke is saying BA is overrated. Hey, he's got some good calls, but his one on Teoscar's homer was ridiculous. That one was the funniest call I've ever heard, maybe in my life. He had a pop fly down the right field line. I hope he lost it in the sun, but he was like swinging like a big drive, and it was just like a weak pop out. Crazy. But yeah, his Teoscar one was really, really bad. I know he'd like a mulligan there. Joseph says, got to finish this up tomorrow, up 3-0, and Churio may be out. That Churio injury, that looked bad. I don't think he'll be, if he plays tomorrow, I will be very surprised.
I'd be shocked if he's in the lineup.
I'm a big fan of Jackson Churio, man. He's
going to be a superstar.
Every ball he's hit this series feels like it's laced, just atom balls, man.
I don't know. Fun. Anytime I see Jackson Churio, I don't know if anybody watches the show or used to watch the show Lopez versus Lopez. I think that was his second show, George Lopez. It's not a great show, but I would support because he's a Mexican guy, so I would at least have it on in the background or whatever, right? But there's one episode where like he's doing a fantasy baseball draft and his son-in-law doesn't know anything about baseball and his wife's trying to help him out, and she holds up a box of Cheerios and whatever. There's miscommunication, and he says, "Oh, something Cheerios," and George Lopez is like, "Oh, Jackson Churio? Oh yeah, he's going to be a great player." This was when like, the guy was still like 2 years away from the big leagues. So for whoever was writing on that show to know the name Jackson Churio,
they know ball.
Shout out to them.
They know ball. Admin says Pat Murphy said it was cramps for Jackson Churio. Okay. I mean, look, they'll still probably be, pretty taking it easy on him. I mean, if he's in the lineup, I would say it's going to be a DH. Putting him in the outfield, that would be, if he's ready to go, that's a piece there, but they're going to monitor him. They've got to look out for his health.
They didn't do anything to make it seem like they were trying to work out cramps on him.
No, it was immediate. He stretched it out and it was poop out.
And like they weren't giving him anything to drink. Like, I mean, it was
same hammy. I think he went right to the tunnel, like his same hammy that he injured and tweaked in the Cub series, I think. Zip code 0. If there's ever going to be a game where Trinan doesn't come in, that first pitch he threw could have been 400 feet into the seats. Let me see. Let me look at it real quick. Let me see. Where was it? Was it down the middle? I mean, if it was, then I just, let me see.
I think sometimes Admin says Churio was getting an IV post game, so it probably was cramps. He might be in the lineup then.
I mean, zip code 0. It is what it is, man. He got Isaac Collins came in, sees the first pitch in a pinch hit spot. I mean, it is what it is.
I think also sometimes we get a little too fixated on where the dot ends up on the screen, and like maybe it's middle, but like from a batter's eye, especially with Trinan, that ball might not be starting in that spot. It might end up there, but if it's starting somewhere else and then it gets there, like it's not necessarily a meatball pitch.
Yeah. Look, I get what he's talking about, but it's just he missed it. You got to hit it. You got to hit it. It is what it is. He got the job done. He went out there and he pitched against two different hitters in that second at bat, and he was able to get it done. Connor, thanks for this one here. If you have a question, toss it in there. We'll try to catch that one, but thanks for the support here. Tommy Edman, back-to-back NLCS MVP. Cole, don't tempt me with a good time. I'm on company time right now. I can't do this. Tommy Edman, going 4 for 11 here. 4 knocks. He's got a double in there, 2 RBI. He's been put into a tough spot, but he's batting 364 in this series, 872 OPS. I'm not sure he's the MVP, but he's doing absolutely everything he can and being pushed into a tough spot in the lineup. He's batting 5th. Like, he's not batting down in the order. They're putting Tommy Edman in a spot to drive in runs. And so far, the limited runs that they're putting up to win ball games, they're doing the thing. They're getting it done. Tommy Edman's being a contributing factor in the lineup here. Connor, this might have been it. Have you guys gone to a postseason game yet? This postseason, I have not. Anthony, have you? Have you been to one?
I've not gone to one yet this postseason. I actually went to a bunch of games this year, like the most I've been to in a while. I haven't gone to a postseason game, but I am for sure eyeing October 24th. I might be in attendance.
There you go. All right. I got it. Yeah, I probably could have gone today, but kiddo wanted to hang around. So we had to hold off there. That would have been a fun one to be at. The Ohtani is on a flight to Toronto memes. Oh man. Yeah, look at that. That's going to be nice. If that's how it goes, he's on a flight. Hey, they finally got it right. They finally got it right after the biggest blunder possibly ever in baseball journalism ever. Get cooked. We know who got cooked on that one. Never let him live it down. Please perpetuate it for all eternity. I think Rogers Center gets more electric than T-Mobile. Doesn't matter. It does.
Like T-Mobile gets pretty loud. They got a really good setup there for acoustics. Who knows? Rogers
beautiful
Center,
skyline, beautiful ballpark out there. Both of them. Yeah, playing in Rogers Center, just the horn, the brrr, that's sick on a homer.
I was in Rogers Center when Jose Batista did
no shot. You were there
and did the bat.
You were there.
I was there,
buddy. I remember where I was when that happened. Oh my God.
I don't know if I've ever been in a ballpark that got as loud as that place got.
Did you feel like it was going to crumble underneath you?
It was like Dodger Stadium gets very loud for it. It's got a bad reputation, but it gets so loud and you can feel Dodger Stadium shake. Part of it because it's old, but like I swear, man, you looked up at Rogers Center, like you just like looked out, and because the press box is behind the plate, you look out, and I mean, it looked like the building was swaying. Like it was rocking.
Oh
and
my God!
If you're not gonna rock for that, what are you gonna rock for, right?
Yeah, for sure. Connor says this one: Blue Jays winning 3-1. I think that score got updated. I think it's 5-1 now.
Yeah,
5-1 right now. Bottom 5. Look, Seattle's that's happening. Look, they're letting it go. That's 7-game series though. So this is ideal for what the Dodgers want. You want them to use everybody. The more bullets thrown, the more pitches thrown. That just exerts everybody here. It's just that's how it goes. More tape for the Dodgers. So by all means, make it happen here. Bojangles again. He says we smoked the Phillies at home. We've now smoked Milwaukee at home, and is home field advantage even a thing? When the Dodgers are your opponent, they know how to play on the road. They for sure do. The home field advantage thing in baseball is incredibly overrated because when you just play your game, it's just Tyler Glasnow said it the best, I think, this postseason. He said he was feeding off that adrenaline rush in Philadelphia. Yeah.
You have to have the right guys, right? And I think it typically starts with starting pitching. And if you got dogs
set the tone.
There,
buddy.
If you got dogs out there who are like, this atmosphere doesn't faze me, and in fact, I'm feeding on it, then you're going to be fine. And the Dodgers actually have that. We for sure know. We have 2 of those guys. We know in Snell. We know in Yamamoto. We've seen it with Yamamoto for more than one postseason. We're going to find out. Ohtani's pitching at home tomorrow, but when you got guys like that taking the ball for you, doesn't matter where they pitch. They're just all world.
Yeah, no doubt. Laura, so exciting. We're on the doorstep of going back to the World Series. Unbelievable. I'll keep saying this, Ann. I can't believe I've talked to you about it. I can't believe it's already 2025 postseason. It feels like we're just watching, the clinching game of the World Series against the Yankees. That's how yesterday it feels. It doesn't feel like that long ago. And you're seeing same cast of characters do the thing. They're winning in a little bit of a different way. Not as many, back and forth. And that's just credit to the starting pitching for keeping it at that. Low stress games when you've got them in a stranglehold, you can just chip away, and when that door's cracked, break it down. But it definitely doesn't feel like it's been so long. But yeah, Laura, great to see you. Thanks for the support here. But they're one game away from going back to another World Series here. This is the golden time. This is when you're going to tell your grandkids that these are the good times. Don't forget them. Cole says 4 million Quintana versus 2 million Ohtani. What a mismatch. Unreal. Absolutely unbelievable.
Guy makes double the salary.
I need a full press conference about this. And I can't get over it. The disparity in cash and just the greediness here. Mark Antanasio, give back the sand to Malibu, please. Got to hear, he says, slap Murph with pocket pancakes. And this is perfect for you. Pat Murphy with the pocket pancakes thing. Woe is me. We're the worst team in the world. Our guys, nobody knows our guys. Yeah, we get it. The Nation says, got caught playing D&D and missed the game. What a beast. Guess I can't watch Dodger games anymore. Thoughts on superstitions? I love you guys. 3-0. Look, yeah. Hey, people ask, do you have any superstitions, Anthony?
And not anything specific, but very much so, like if things aren't going well, or if things are going well, like hey, nobody move, like that kind of thing. Like
that type of thing.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. Somebody asked me this morning, and I was like, look, every game that I've watched this postseason, like sat down and watched the game they've won. Outside of one game, the one game I didn't watch, I wasn't even around a TV. I was at a concert, but I was in downtown LA. That was the Kershaw one. So they got smoked there. So I said, I'll try to watch as many as I can. Cole says, if the Brewers manage a W tomorrow, they get to face Snell and Yamamoto again. These things nightmares are made of. 100%. Yeah, look, this is depth.
Yeah, that's why we said they have a real shot if those guys are healthy, because it's relentless. They never let up.
No day off. No Brent Honeywell game. No souped up Brent Honeywell game. Don't even need to worry about it. Just wait till just play who you got. That's why I don't want to meddle with the rotation. Keep it as is. Keep them on that same tip. Sai says, Jeff, was that you on the tick pick ad? I think that was him.
It was him. Yeah. He
reported. That was him for sure. W Jeff, W ad. Love it. Let me put this up real quick so people can see it. Matty Man, thank you for this. Yes, this Dodger Blue channel should be at 200K. 100%. I totally agree with this. It's on us, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in all the time. We appreciate all the support. We prepped everybody going into the postseason. We have incredible work. We have amazing contributors, Anthony, Bruce, everyone that contributes to the video work, the audio work that we put out there, and the written work, Matt Moreno, Blake Williams, Jeff, myself, everybody. We're closing in on 95K. It's the goal to be at 100K, hopefully by the end of the postseason here. You guys do us an incredible favor by tuning in all the time, consistently, liking, subscribing, share this around. We appreciate you just as much as you guys appreciate us. And I'll tell you, that's the damn truth. I only wanted to come back to DB because I missed yapping ball with you guys. All right. So that's flat out how it is. Closing in on 95K, Dale, for sure. Everybody share this around. We appreciate everyone. Thank you. We're going to be here as much as humanly possible. Freedom says Mariner pitching project has fallen apart. 5-1 in the fourth. Bluebirds. I want a Dodger Mariner World Series. Let's go Dodgers. Yeah. And they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to battle themselves back. You get rocked 2 at home, get blown out, and 5-1. And from what I see and what I hear, Scherzer is cruising, huh?
Yeah, he is. Obviously, I'm just glancing at the game, but based on the numbers, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. 20 wants to know, why are up downs such consideration for relievers? I'll let you take this one here.
Yeah. So typically in the regular season, managers manage by innings. And so they'll say, okay, Joe Smith reliever, you got the 7th, Joe Reynolds reliever, you got the 8th, like that. And so that'll be their inning. In the postseason, it's a little bit different, because what you're doing is you're counting outs versus counting innings. And so you may say, like we saw this with Blake Trinan a lot last year, Evan Phillips as well. You might not come in to start an inning. You might come in with 1 out or something like that. And then you go, okay, I need you to get these last 2 outs of the 7th inning. And then based on what they have coming up in the 8th, you're going to get at least 1 hitter in the 8th. And those will be your 3 outs. And if you get through that clean, we'll give you the 4th, because we're going to then bring in so-and-so to get the lefty. And so instead of just straight up going innings, you're going by outs. Now, when that happens, a lot of times a guy has to go sit down in the dugout and then come back out for a 2nd inning. Well, relievers spend the entire regular season not doing that. So they're not so much conditioned for it. And some guys respond differently to that. And that's why up downs are always a little bit of a concern for some guys, because you don't know how they're going to respond in that 2nd inning.
100%. Yeah, great explanation there. It's just, you see it a lot more with closers. You put their best stuff out there. Edwin Diaz does it a ton. That's why, like, Yohan Duran did it, and it was like, how long can you ride these guys? Kenley Jansen was the one who could do it, and he just, it's guys who are willing to take the ball. Middle relievers, you kind of ride them a little bit if you can, just to eat some innings. But in the regular season, doesn't happen very much outside of big matchups there where you need to swing a division game, stuff like that. But up downs are a big thing. That's why it's just having so many up downs for a reliever. As a manager, you try to avoid it and manage it as best you can.
It's also why it was so promising to see Roki give you 3 innings against the Phillies in that closeout game, because even though he's conditioned to be a starter, you don't know how he's going to react in that situation as a reliever coming out of the pen and all that. So that, like, I think now they know they can count on him if they need more than 3 outs in just a clean inning.
Yeah. Matt says this, go blue. Love sharing this win with other fans. Absolutely, Matt. Thank you for being here. This is where it's at. You're in here with nearly 4,000 other people taking this one in. It's 100-hour-20 here. I know Ant is begging for a cup of coffee or a meal and hitting the sheets. He's going to bed soon. I know that. He's gassed. But Matt, thank you for tuning in. We'll be here through the duration of the postseason, off season, everything for you guys. Here we go. Is Show off the hook if he throws a no-hitter tomorrow? I think Shohei, he'll be correct. Yes. We don't even have to explain that one. He would be off the hook. He could do whatever he wants the rest of the postseason. If you propel the Dodgers at home to a World Series with a no-hitter against the number 1 seed in the National League, Milwaukee Brewers. So yes, don't even need to have any more explanation there. The sandwich, Roki's come a long way from those starts where Pages was robbing homers. It's been an unbelievable season for him. We've talked about it a lot. It's something that we're going to talk about for some years. And I hope it's an upwards trajectory for Roki Sasaki.
One thing that's been cool with that. Sorry to interrupt you, Scott.
No, you're good, brother.
One thing that's been cool to read about is aside from just the performance, the uptick in the performance, like when they talk to other guys in the clubhouse about Roki, a big part of it is like, it's a different guy. It's not the same guy who was here in April and May. He's a different player. He has a different mentality, different attitude. I think that's very telling in who he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. What's up, Buttercup? What are lanes Dave and Bullpen keep saying? 5 more. What are you talking about here?
Lanes.
Not sure.
I'm not exactly sure.
I need some context on that one. What's up, Buttercup? Yeah. I'm sure once I see the context of the question, what was asked and how he responds to it, just off the top of my head, then I'll be able to speak directly.
Yeah, if you're still in here, Buttercup, drop a line. Admin is
lanes for a reliever. Admin said.
Talking about like roles.
If you're talking roles, then yeah, I mean, it's just. You keep guys in the similar spots. It's just going down the stretch there. You put them in spots they're going to be in and just not putting them out of place. And I think that's the way to go with them. You find specific roles. Who are your firemen? Who you can bring in specific spots.
Admin confirms. Yeah, he's talking about roles. Yeah.
Yeah, then that's how it is. Somebody, you familiarity factor with different spots. And I saw somebody in there and you look at postseasons as a whole. That's why it's good to look at specific series and you break that down into that. You reset those roles at the end of every single series. And that's how you do it. Yeah, Matty Man says Dave Speak. I love Dave Speak. I'm big time on Dave Speak. You get this player, give him a little blow, a little catch play. Stuff like that, man. I'm big on Dave Speak. It's the best. It's the best. Somebody says, as in stay in your lane. Yeah, it's rolls. 300. You might have to go co-MVPs for NLCS, Snell and Yamamoto. We'll reconvene on this one here, but early thoughts who are your NLCS MVPs to this point? And if things kind of stay status quo without like a crazy performance
Yeah.
tomorrow, who's someone that's on your radar here?
Yeah, nothing crazy happens. And let's say they don't throw Ohtani past 6, right? Even if they're 6 shutout. I would really be okay with the co-MVPs for Snell and Yamamoto, because I think, one, those 2 performances were so dominant and it set the tone for what this series was going to be.
Won them 2 ball games. It won them 2 ball games.
And they were 2 of the greatest starting pitching performances in franchise history.
The game score for Blake Snell's, wasn't that the best? And was that the number 1 in Dodgers history? Something like that?
It might, yeah. From a game score standpoint,
From a game score standpoint, I think that was the number 1 postseason start in Dodgers history. Imagine if he went 9, just to have that. I mean, still, it was an incredible performance. But I mean, Blake Snell directly won you 1 ball game, basically all by himself. Like, that was just unbelievable. One of the best performances I've ever seen. Let's see. We're almost done. Here. Nunya says, what do you think of using Dean in defensive situations, putting Rojas at short and Mookie in right? Nope. I'm good. Don't need to do it.
I'm good with Dean all the time when they throw him out there for defensive replacement.
Cool,
but I'm not moving Mookie, and Rojas I don't think needs to come in, because Edman can still pick it even with the gimpy ankle. But when you move Dean to center and it puts Paez in right, Paez I think has a chance to be like a Gold Glove caliber right fielder eventually. Yeah. And then you're just talking about left field. And then, if you really wanted to get into it, you could throw Alex Call in there too. And then your defensive outfield is legit.
Yep. No need to change anything. Ain't broke, don't fix it. Gold Glove award finalist Mookie Betts at shortstop, Mr. Marcus Lynn Betts at this stage of his career, making everybody weep. People doubted him. Insane. Can't get over it. Keeps me up at night.
Snell, 90 game score. Yamamoto, 83 game score. Those are incredible numbers.
Yep. As good as it gets. P. Lee, so is this the new winning strategy? Pull up a chair. He says, does just to make it to the postseason and do enough and cruise, save your bullets for the postseason, it's working. Yeah, I mean, they're going to win enough games. They would always like to have the 1 seed. You always want the bye. Yeah. Like, you're never going to just say like, oh, we're cool not having the bye. No, you're playing to win as many games, but you're definitely not going to see the Dodgers overexert themselves and stretch guys out and put players in inopportune spots just for the sake of a regular season ball game in May. It's not going to happen. Yeah. The averages play themselves out. That's how you get through a regular season. The Dodgers consistently do that. You're going to see some blunders as a result of it. And that's baseball. That's the Dodgers. They know what they're doing. And if they come out as the 1 or 2 seed, cool. If not, this is what they're doing right now.
And I wouldn't call it their strategy, but I would say that they're not rushing guys back to win regular season games. Like, I think probably Snell could have come back earlier. Ohtani could have pitched sooner. Like, I think those kinds of things, they'll just slow play those guys out to make sure that they can peak in October and that they're healthy for this. They're not rushing anyone back and or taking any risk to win games in June or July.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a comment in there. It says Blake Snell's binders are the MVP.
Yeah.
W comment. Great comment.
And his scouting report card in his back pocket.
Yes. And shout out to the Dodgers players on social media. They're all hyping each other up, and I love that. They're all hilarious. We've made it. We're going to take a few questions, and that's it. We're running on marathon hours. Shout out to everybody in here. Hope you enjoyed this. We talked earlier this morning on my show on Unplugged about how going up 3-0 would tip the scales so far in the Dodgers' favor. You're going to see an absolute scramble session. Now the Dodgers just have to win 1 of the possible next 4 games to make it to their 2nd consecutive World Series, to be the National League representative in the Fall Classic, to win a 2nd consecutive pennant. And for that, Dave Roberts, what a dog, starting pitching, all bunch of dogs. They are the starting pitching dogs. They've got that crown right now. And I keep being asked about the bullpen and how that's holding up. Well, we haven't seen them stressed outside of one time, right? Twice, all postseason. And I would say that's the point where it's just, make your adjustments on the fly, go from there. At the end of the day, I think that, they've got something, Roki, Sasaki, they can count on. And you just have a collection of guys, probably at this point, Anthony, hungry to get to the mound, because a lot of them just haven't had as much opportunity as last year, because that was a crazy type of stretch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I agree.
Let me see here. Whoops. Scooter Booty says, which AL team's offense is more of a threat between the Blue Jays and the Mariners?
Both these offenses have the firepower to like do damage against you. I think Toronto probably has less of that. I think Seattle might have just a little more of like guys who can do it with one swing. Obviously Toronto has Vladdy, but like some of the other guys haven't been as good as they've been in the past or whatever. It's pretty even though, in my opinion. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's just, it can be a back and forth. You can see some floods out of the way, but the Blue Jays, that's why I said it keeps falling on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette's out. He does not look ready to go. I know he's dealing with a leg. Yeah, he's dealing with the leg issue there. It's just Alejandro Kirk, but I feel that it's about a preference. The only thing about wanting to face the Blues or like wanting to face the Mariners is just the travel. I think it's just the travel aspect and the time aspect from there.
And the home
But
field.
yeah, and a home field. But like you said, they feel like they have some guys that can run into one. Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, Cal Raleigh. Like they've got guys all around them.
Polanco's been good in the playoffs.
Jorge Polanco. He's had quietly an incredible postseason. I mean, if you're watching their thing, it's not quiet, but for people not paying attention, it's just they've got guys having scattered performance. And if you go out here, I mean, the Blue Jays, it's just they can do their thing. So I'm just gonna say,
I think they're fairly like similar in terms of I think how they would match up against the Dodgers in particular. So like neither offense scares me so much. I think, if everything lines up right for Seattle, their pitching is probably better. But beyond that, I just still don't think anyone's rotation matches up with what the Dodgers are going to throw out there.
And Anthony, do you want to know the best part about if the Blue Jays get it? The Dodgers immediately become America's team, buddy.
Oh, that's going to be, well, people are going to hate that.
They will. They will absolutely hate that. And I don't think a lot of people will be all right with that because they want the Dodgers to be the villain as much as possible here. But it's just, sorry guys, it's just not happening here. Let's see. Let me see. I had one that I just missed it. Not good. I mean, Adman saying Vlad and Springer tough to deal with. Yeah, for sure. Both teams have those. I think that's kind of to be expected. Ernie Clement, I know they've got some guys out there that can play. They're right fielders. He's had a great, I forgot his name, but they have a right fielder in Toronto. He can pick it. He can go and get it in right field. They have some contributors, but every team's got them.
Hallelujah has one that came in at 737. That's a good question. I think we can talk to.
There we go. It says, do you guys think it was a bad taste for Passan to bring out the article ahead of the series about the lockout? It felt like he was trying to stir something up against the Dodgers. I mean, bad taste. That's Passan's writing an article about something that just shows the disparity between payrolls. That's Passan's at the top of his game. So I respect him for what he does. Bad taste. I think that's the place where it's going to generate the most interest, where right before a series, he puts out that the Los Angeles Dodgers have this immense payroll. The Brewers got to this point with a little payroll, showing that the small market team can outperform expectations and get to where they're at. So that's what I saw it from Dodger fans' perspective. It's, what are you doing, Jeff? But I know why he put that article out at that time.
Yeah, for sure. As a former beat guy and national guy, I understand the angle there. And Passan's a buddy of mine. We were former roommates. We were at each other's weddings and stuff like that. So we're tight. I did not agree with the piece. And for those of you who didn't read it, basically he said this matchup, Milwaukee, LA, whoever wins, it was going to give that side more firepower going into the negotiations for the CBA. And that if the Dodgers happened to win, it was going to be more cause for a lockout. I don't agree with that. I think the lockout's happening anyway. And I think that what the Brewers did in the regular season, the Reds making the playoffs, like stuff like that, I think they've already made their case for like parity exists in baseball. The Diamondbacks make it before they spent a lot of money. Diamondbacks going to the World Series before, and so like I think all of that stuff is already baked in. Like, I don't think the outcome of this series necessarily gives anybody more firepower.
Yeah, definitely.
Baseball's growing. Like the ratings are better, revenues are growing. And so it's hard to make that argument that like, well, you really need parity if the sport is going to survive. It's been totally fine.
Yeah. I saw one about Shohei question in chat, and it was about why do elite hitters struggle in the postseason, like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, guys of that nature. It's just flat out. I don't have it to pull it up, but it's the way they are pitched. They are the way that the Philadelphia Phillies pitched Shohei Ohtani made him so inside conscious. You have him getting tough breaking balls away. You see matchups specifically for them. Tanner Scott specifically eliminated Shohei Ohtani last postseason against the Padres. The Brewers and the Phillies specifically have starters and relievers that are out there to eliminate him and pitch him a certain way. Hard sinkers in, hard stuff in, big sweepers away. And he gets to these point where you create bad habits, get bad tendencies, and it's just I can't be late inside. I can't get beat inside. And that's why you'll see him if there's a breaker inside and it's not a hard sinker, that's when you're going to see him rope one. But if it's away, he's so inside conscious right now, and I'm waiting for him to get out of it because he's stuff's right down the middle, and he's just not on it. He had a cutter tonight where I thought he was going to hammer it. He's just off kilter. He's not on time right now. Just a couple like tough signs for him.
Yeah, I agree. And part of the reason why those guys will struggle is because teams are game planning. Again, teams are counting outs, particularly right, obviously with the bullpen, and sometimes with openers and things like that. Those hitters are being game planned for more than they are in the regular season. In the regular season, it's just like, hey, here's where we're at schedule wise with our rotation, and this guy pitched yesterday, so we're going to try to give him a down day in the bullpen today. Like, it's that kind of stuff. That's not how it goes in the playoffs typically. So you're going to see that team's best pitcher against a righty if you're Aaron Judge, or against a lefty, or a lefty guy if you're Ohtani. And so that's a big part of it. And I think Scott's right. The Phillies got him way out of whack. He was feeling good against the Reds where they didn't have those weapons to toss at him. And then the Phillies did, and they had multiple waves of those kinds of guys to throw at him. And it feels like it got him, kind of just off of his game, off of his mechanics, off of his approach. And I think we're just seeing now the residue of that.
Yeah, like it could have been Lodolo, but it just wasn't a thing. They didn't start him. They brought out an opener. Like they gave him a big breath of fresh air. Hunter Green didn't have it. He's not going to eliminate a lefty. So it's just after that, the Phillies just have guys who can pitch to a game plan and just big sweeping stuff, hammer you inside. And from there, from the Philly series on, he's just been in this one singular mode. Everybody, 3,800, nearly 4K in here across all social media. We appreciate you. What an amazing day. The Dodgers take a 3-0 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Championship Series. I will be with you tomorrow on the channel on DodgerHeads Unplugged. I will see you then. Anthony, I do this with Blake, but I want, final thoughts from you, and we'll take us home, man.
Yeah, final thoughts here. It's got to feel devastating on the other side when you're down 3-0, and then you go, well, maybe we can get him tomorrow, and then you look at the lineup sheet and you go, oh, Ohtani's pitching tomorrow.
Yeah,
another ace. I think with this series and against the Phillies, this whole playoff run with the starting pitching it's just relentless. There are no breaks with this team. And typically in the playoffs, that's not the case because people, rotations are gassed, or you got two really good guys and then it's kind of a crapshoot after that. No, they have 4 legitimate aces on their staff right now, and you're seeing the fruits of all of that. And that's why they built this team the way they did. And it's why we kept saying, even when they were down in the regular season, if they can get there with these guys intact, they have a real shot to win it all. And we're seeing it.
Couple quick tidbits. Shout out to Sarah Langs at Slang Sports on Twitter. She's the best. If you do not follow her, please do. She's one of the most terrific people in sports media. The most consecutive games allowing 1 or 0 runs in a single postseason. The Dodgers are tied with the second most at 4, and that's an active streak. So they've done that 4 times. The Dodgers are the 2025 Dodgers are the first team to take a 3-0 lead on a team with the best record in an NLC or an LCS series since the best of 7 started up in 1985. So this Los Angeles Dodgers team are flexing their muscles, like I said, against the number 1 team in the National League that won the most games for an absolute reason. They play their brand of baseball, a frustrating brand of baseball when your other team is not playing perfect, and they capitalize on mistakes. And guess what? The Dodgers just aren't making those mistakes. The starting pitching is carrying them. and they're being pitched incredibly tough. And that's where you find yourself now in a 3-0 advantage there. Any thoughts on that stat?
One more to drive your point home here.
Yeah.
This is from OptaStats. In each of the last 4 games, the Dodger pitching staff has allowed 1 or 0 runs, allowed fewer than 5 hits, allowed fewer than 5 walks, struck out 7+ batters. No other MLB team in the modern era has done that in 4 straight games at any point, regular season or postseason.
Wow. Just a remarkable run. This is stuff that it feels ho-hum because there's not a lot of action. But when you look at it and you see the pitching matchups and you see how they're executing right now, this is the pinnacle, guys. Chat, this is the absolute pinnacle of what the front office set out for, and how all of these things in the marriage of game planning, preparation, execution, it's all happening right in front of our eyes. And they are 1 game away from another, second consecutive World Series appearance here, and doing some historic stuff. So, Anthony, appreciate you joining me. Appreciate you joining Jeff. It was great to be here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If I'm solo on there, then I'll see you then. But if I'm able to snag another person to be on there, and we'll get a game day thing going at noon, we'll see you then. But as always, everybody, thank you for tuning in to DodgerHeads Unplugged. Dodgers take a 3-0 lead in the NLCS. 1 more game. Got Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Expect Jose Quintana tomorrow at some point for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are playing for their entire season. But I'm expecting a sweep. Expect nothing else. And then we'll talk then. As always, go Dodgers.